Hey, we're Princess Lions. So I'm going to be talking about Aladdin, the live action version, and like my thoughts on like the live action and what I thought about the different changes they made to the movie to bring it to the big screen in live action. And yeah, before I say anything, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and we will get into the video. So before I say anything, you may have noticed the fact that before the last video was like a couple of days ago, I wasn't here for like a month. But the reason of that was because for the first week I pulled a muscle in my back and I was literally out of commission for like a week and a half. And then the week after was my birthday, so I decided I'm not going to upload a video, I'm just going to relax and chill out for my birthday. And then I was in London and Paris the next 2 weeks, so like that kind of stumped that as well. But yeah, that's the reason why I haven't been like around for the last month. But yeah, anyway, so I went to see Aladdin on the like first day it came out. I'm pretty sure like it came out 2 days earlier in Ireland and probably UK. But yeah, I went to see it with my mom, my brother, and okay, I gotta say the live action is amazing. Literally, it was breathtaking. Like so many different things they added to the movie. It was amazing. Like the dancing they added in like was like more like better and like more suited for the culture, and also like just the addition of a song and like changes of different songs, which parts some of them I liked, some I didn't like. But yeah, I loved all the casting of like as everyone else pretty much. I didn't know what to think of Will Smith as the genie and all, and I'm gonna say I really respected the fact that originally Will Smith said in an interview that when he first was like approached with the role of playing genie, he was like, no, I'm not playing the role of genie because everyone knows that no one can outdo Robin Williams. Robin Williams made the role his own, and like no one can do better. But he took a second guess and he said, actually I will do it, because he saw like the script and all that. He decided to make his own version of the genie, which I love. He did an amazing job. Naturally, as I said, he's not as good as Robin Williams, but the thing is, no one will be. But he made a brilliant version of his own, and he just kind of blew us away with his version of Genie. Especially the fact that the genie started off like the movie with, oh my god, this perfect edition of Arabian Nights. Oh my god, it was so good. Yeah, there was a lot of different like changes in it, and I don't really mind because it wasn't done by the vendor, but it was done by Genie instead. And oh, it's just so good. Literally the way they started off the movie, you're like, oh my god, it's like amazing. Like just to hear that, oh, it's just like Arabian Nights. Like it was like, oh, it just blew you away. Definitely, the Will Smith did a really great job as a genie. I am like super glad that he actually got taken for the role for him. So glad he actually got to go and make it his own, not just, he didn't just copy Robin Williams. He made like a completely different version of the genie, while also putting subtle hints from the Robin Williams genie, but not making it obvious. The actors who played Aladdin and Jasmine were really good. Naomi Scott did a really good job as Jasmine, and like Mena Massoud, I think that's the way you say his name, he did a really good job as Aladdin too. Like, he really portrayed Aladdin very well. And the only thing I had wrong, now this is just the one thing I felt like, no, later on I kind of was told stuff, like I read stuff that made it more better, but originally when I watched the movie I didn't like the way that they portrayed Jasmine. Jasmine in the movie, it takes like half the movie for her to kind of start becoming like the Jasmine in the original movie, like, because the one thing I always loved about Jasmine, the animated movie, was she was a badass. Like she could take care of herself. She didn't need like any man to help her out. Okay, yes, she was looking for a prince, that was the only thing she wanted, but she didn't need anyone to help her out. Like the scene where she gets out of the palace and she meets Aladdin, and they were heading over like a big gap, and then he just runs over, he says, here, I'll help you out, and he pushes the board across, and then she leaps and then lands perfectly. She says, oh, I can take care of myself, and just fires them back. And that's what makes Aladdin fall for her even more, because she is like a strong, independent woman. But in the live action movie, they make her out to be a bit of a scaredy cat. Like in that scene where they kind of redo it again, where they have to jump over a large gap between two buildings, she is too afraid to, and lands it's like, oh come on, you can trust me, just jump over, you can do it. I felt like in the original movie she didn't need Aladdin to like make her say, oh come on, you can do it, come on. Like Jasmine just leaped right over. He was like second guessing whether, oh maybe she needs help, but she just leaps over. While in that live action movie she made it, oh like, oh I'm too afraid, I don't want to jump, oh no. Like, oh come on Jasmine, you should be the badass you were in the animated film. That was probably the only issue I had with Jasmine, the fact that she was too afraid for like half the movie. But I think the reason they did that is so they could build up the whole like plot of the fact that the reason why they made the new original song called Speechless, where she didn't want to be speechless anymore, she actually wanted to speak her mind and stuff. But I felt it took too long to do that. I feel like what they should have done is just make her a badass from the very start, and like because so girls can look up to her and say that it shouldn't take time for a woman to kind of build up her courage, she should have the courage like that. But speaking of that, I didn't realize, even though I watched it, I didn't notice the whole plot of she didn't need a man. She wanted to just be the Sultan. Instead of like needing a man, she wanted to just become the Sultan and like rule the country, like help her people out. Like as the movie was going on, you were noticing how much Jasmine loved her people and like cared about how they were treated and like how their livelihood is all around Agrabah. Basically she cares more about the people than finding a man, and all these like pompous princes coming in trying to get her attention, like, oh I'll marry you and all this stuff, and she's like, can I just be Sultan and like help out the kingdom? But it's like, no, you have to marry a man to actually do that. And she's like more focused on becoming Sultan rather than looking for a man to actually marry. While in the original film she was more like, oh I want to marry a man for love. Oh. But they took too long to do that. I feel like I want her to be a badass from the very start, but naturally you needed the dash to build up so she could sing her song Speechless and speak her mind out to the fact that Jafar was kind of taking over and all this stuff. But yeah, speaking of Jafar, I felt Jafar, he didn't look the part at all. He just didn't look menacing. His voice wasn't intimidating. I just didn't like it. I thought that he was not really the best choice for the role, and he just didn't suit the role. But there's a but. Even though his character and his voice didn't sound intimidating, I feel like his attitude, the way he kind of acted in the movie really got you intimidated. Like the way he kind of like got angry at times, it's like you're intimidated by his attitude, not by his looks. But the thing is, someone actually mentioned that, which actually makes a valid point. Maybe the reason why they chose him to be the actor of Jafar was because not everyone looks menacing. Like dark people, like people who are evil, don't always look menacing, and like maybe that's the way they were trying to portray it, that Jafar didn't look like he was like a crazy evil guy, but deep down he was literally super evil, and you never really noticed about him until later. But yeah, I just feel that Jafar should have been more menacing looking, and his voice should be, if you don't bow for a sultan, you are a coward before a sorcerer. And just like that really scares it. And if they put that with his attitude from the movie, that I'd be petrified of Jafar. Now, speaking of music, a lot of the songs I love. Prince Ali, when I first heard it in the cinema, I didn't really like it because the fact it changed a lot of the lyrics and like did stuff. But then I found out that there's a part of the song where they say brush up your Friday salam. I thought, oh well, why did you change that lyrics? It's Sunday salon. I thought it was salon as in S-L-O-N. Like, I thought maybe it meant that, oh, women go to the salon and get yourself done up and made look beautiful for this prince. But then I found out salam is like a religious thing in their country. It's a Friday, not a Sunday, so the original lyrics were wrong, so they corrected it for this live action film, which I love. But yeah, they did that. And also, the only song I didn't like was the reprise of Jump Ahead, where he sings riff raff, street rat, I don't buy that. Like that part there. And in the movie, they made him kind of he talked the song. Okay, there's parts where he was singing, but there was most of it he was talking. I didn't like that because I love the original guy when he sang it. I know there was a voice actor playing Aladdin and there was also a singing voice for Aladdin too. But I just feel like they sang it better in the thing rather than him talking it. I just didn't like that. But other than that, all the other songs were amazing. Especially the original song, Speechless. Like, oh my god, Naomi Scott did a perfect job with that song. I just blown away. Like, that song was also really good. I did like also the fact that they did like 2 reprises of the song of One Jump Ahead. They did like the reprise where he originally sang Riff Raff Street Track, I don't buy that. And then next part, like he sings songs about it being a prince and how it's a fake thing he's doing. And the one thing I also loved, is the fact that they added like certain things that the original movie was missing. Like the part where he wishes to be a prince, he just goes, oh, I could make you a prince, and it's just like a guy turns up as a prince and says, no, I don't want that. So because like there's as the person said, like there's a lot of grey area. When you said make me a prince, that could be anything. Like you could be like, make me a princess and I want a prince to be on my side, rather than I want to be a prince. And like, I just love the fact that as the movie goes on, you see certain like things where he has to be more detailed and actually say what he wants specifically. Because there's a part where Jafar wishes that he's the most powerful being ever, even more powerful than the genie. He didn't specifically say what he wanted to do, so he turned him into a genie, and like that's when the genie thought, oh yeah, you want to be super powerful? Well, a genie is the most powerful being ever, and you want to be the strongest genie ever, so there you go, now you're a genie. And I just love the way that they kept that in. Also, as someone pointed out, that the original film didn't actually see them getting married in the movie, and like, it took like to the very end, like the Return of Jafar and the King of Thieves, to come back and actually for them to marry at the very end. And in this movie, it just kind of like did a flash forward where they got married at the very end. Oh, Friend Like Me as well. That was a really good version. Like, because again, Will Smith made his own version of it where he started beatboxing and stuff, and that was really cool. Like, he made his own version. As Will Smith said, the character he was developing from, like, for Genie was he was taking 90s characters he played, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he made it out of those characters and put it together. Because the fact that Genie came out in 1992, he wanted to kind of bring characters from his 90s in to figure that out. Also, I love the fact that he wore kind of blue clothes that reminded you of the musical Aladdin, of the genie, because the genie wasn't actually blue in the musical. He was like wearing blue clothes, which I love the fact that they brought into the movie. I think lastly, I gotta say, I love the whole scene where they were flying on the carpet and suddenly he turns Iago into a giant bird. I was like, what the hell's going on? Apparently that's actually more closer to the original story, rather than in the animated film where he actually turned himself into a giant snake. Well, because apparently in the original story of Aladdin, he did actually get a giant bird to go and attack them. But lastly, oh my god, my favourite song of the entire movie was A Whole New World. Oh my god, it was just beautiful. Like, just Naomi Scott and Raina Massoud just did a perfect job of it, and their like harmonies with together. Oh, I just like oh my god. I think I sang nearly every single word of all the songs they played, except for Speechless, because, well, that was an original song. But yeah, definitely I really enjoyed it, and I love the fact that they actually made it different but also kept close to the original animated film story. Also love the character of her handmaiden as well, and the fact that the genie got a love story kind of developed from the movie where he got with the handmaiden of Jasmine. And can't forget all the animals. All the animals were amazing. I love the fact that Raja was in it, because they were first, like when they first were talking about Aladdin, Raja was not going to be in it. They were talking about Raja's not in it at all. I was like, no, Raja's an important character in Aladdin. He just looked amazing. Like, he looked like a real tiger. And of course, Abu. You can't forget about Abu. He was amazing. And the fact that Alan Tudyk voiced the role of Iago. Definitely the movie is really good. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it while it's in the cinema. I probably will see it one more time before it leaves the cinema. Gotta see Avengers Endgame as well, because gotta get it past Avatar. It's almost there. Right, so I will see you guys next week on another video. Right, bye. See you later.